Good morning, I'm Angelo Castro III.
I'm Angela, and we are the Castro.
We bring you the news.
And the views that make you think.
Sometimes we agree.
Sometimes we don't.
This is News and Views.
And here are today's headlines.
Leyte Representative Martin Romualdez is scheduled to appear before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure today.
DOST Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. warns of the so-called the big one, saying that Metro Manila remains unprepared for it.
The House of Representatives is set to transmit the proposed 2026 national budget following plenary approval.
The PLDT high-speed hitters and the Choco Mucho Flying Titans kicked off their PVL Reinforced Conference campaign with impressive wins.
First in the news, Senate Finance Committee Chairman Win Gatchalian grilled officials of the Commission on Audit on how they are monitoring infrastructure spending amid the control scandal. Here's the report.
Senate Finance Committee Chair Win Gatchalian questioned the Commission on Audit about its actions to monitor infrastructure projects amid controversies surrounding flood control projects. According to COA, even some of their own resident auditors assigned to these projects are now being investigated.
Yun pong fraud audit na ginawa, na isinasagawa po. Part of it po is yun pong fraud auditors would also look at the negligence or complicity ng ating pong mga resident auditors po dun sa baba.
Cordoba said they will conduct a reshuffling of auditors and surprise inspections in various field offices. COA will also require commissioners and employees to submit a declaration of conflict of interest following the revelation that the wife of COA Commissioner Mario Lipana allegedly obtained government contracts. Senator Gatchalian looked for Lipana during the hearing, but he was said to be on medical leave abroad until October 30.
We can submit po his medical certificate, but ano lang po siguro, ang treatment po siguro ito would be para sa inyo na lang po muna.
Cordoba also admitted that COA is undermanned. In Bulacan's 1st District, where several anomalous flood control projects were uncovered, only 2 COA auditors are assigned. Hence, Cordoba appealed to the Senate to help increase their manpower. Gatchalian, meanwhile, reminded the COA that it is their duty to guard public funds and ensure that no government project becomes a source of corruption. In the end, the Senate committee approved COA's 15 billion peso budget for 2026. Last week, the Senate also revisited reports on allegedly overpriced farm-to-market roads, which Senator Gatchalian once investigated, especially in the Bicol region, the bailiwick of former Congressman Zaldico, and in Eastern Visayas, home province of late 1st District Representative Martin Romualdez. However, House Deputy Speaker Ronnie Puno warned that this might be a demolition job against Romualdez.
I think malungkot ang timing kasi the former speaker is going to speak before the independent commission. So parang may konting demolition na nangyayari dito, Parang gustong I think there is scapegoating that is going on, Nagtuturuan, and then people are pointing to other people so that they will be able to escape the responsibility. Ang sa akin lang, follow the money. Di ba? Ano yung nangyari sa insertion? Sino may kagagawa nun?
The Independent Commission for Infrastructure, or ICI, is set to file 15 to 20 cases with the Office of the Ombudsman within the next 4 weeks in connection with the flood control scandal. ICI Special Advisor and former PNP Chief Rodolfo Azurin Jr. said the Commission is still validating around 421 suspected ghost projects as part of its ongoing fact-finding mission. He added that formal case buildup will begin next week before the findings are sent to the Ombudsman. Meanwhile, the Department of Justice said it is preparing to file cases against contractors Curly and Sara Discaya by next week. However, officials have not yet disclosed the specific charges.
Hindi po kailangan na hintayin hanggang sila po ay handang magbigay ng kanilang salaysay o yung sinasabi ng kanilang abogado na they will tell all. Malalaman lang po natin yan kapag nandiyan na po sa harap ng nag-iimbestiga at i-evaluate din po natin, titingnan natin kung ito po ay sapat na, para sila ay may konsiderang state witness.
The timelines is already set. The people are impatient. If we don't find something satisfactory, we will file the appropriate cases with or without the state witnesses. We will build the cases based on the evidence we have. But what we can assure the Filipino people is that we will only file strong cases.
Later, Representative Martin Romualdez appeared before the Independent Commission for Infrastructure today. For details, we have mobile journalist Arles de los Santos. Arles, nandiyan pa ba si Rep. Romualdez, Arles?
Angela at Diego, ilang minuto pa lamang mula nang dumating si dating House Speaker at ngayon ay late Representative Martin Romualdez dito sa Independent Commission for Infrastructure o ICI dito sa Taguig. Matatandaan natin na ilang araw mula na imbitahan ng ICI itong si Romualdez para pagpaliwanagin kung paano nga ba ang naging proseso ng Kamara para sa budget nito sa nakaraang mga taon sa 2024 at 2025. Gayon din ang mga budget insertion at ang ilang DPWH flood control projects na nakapasok nga sa ating GAA. Sa kanyang pagdating, sinabi ni Romualdez na handa siyang ibigay at i-disclose ang anumang impormasyon na makakapagbigay linaw at liwanag sa katotohanan kung ano nga ba ang nangyari sa budget process ng Kamara. At kanya rin ikinagulat natin ang kanyang pagsabi na hindi raw siya bahagi ng bicameral committee pero handa siyang tumulong sa ICI para nga mahanap ang katotohanan at makapagbigay linaw pa sa mga alegasyon at mga flood control scandal na ngayon ay mainit na pinag-uusapan dito sa ating bansa.
Arles, aside from talking about the budget process na pinagdaanan ng mga projects, is Representative Romualdez also set to defend his stance na yung he was pointed at during the Blue Ribbon Committee?
Actually, Diego, medyo naging limitado yung pagkakataon natin na makapanayam itong si House Speaker Martin Romualdez. Ang kanya lamang sinabi ay ang kanyang willingness na makipagtulungan dito sa ICI at paulit-ulit nila yung sinasabi para nga raw maliwanagan na talaga kung ano ang katotohanan sa anomalya na ito sa mga flood control projects. Pero patungkol doon sa mga naging alegasyon sa Senate Blue Ribbon Committee sa isang pagdinig ay hindi yan kasama sa mga focus ngayong araw. Dahil kung matatandaan natin sa imbitasyon ay nakalagay doon kung paano at ano ang naging proseso ng Kamara para sa budget process nito at ang maging ang mga DPWH flood control projects na nakasama doon sa naaprobahang budget sa Kamara.
Okay, aside from former House Speaker Martin Romualdez, sino pa inaasahan natin na pupunta ngayon dyan sa opisina ng ICI para sa investigasyon?
Kaninang umaga, Angela, dumating na si Department of Budget and Management Secretary Amena Pangandaman para din naman ipaliwanag kung paano nga ba nabubuo ang National Expenditure Program na taon-taon na ipinapasa sa Kongreso bago nga ito maging GAA. Pero ilang minuto lamang ay nakumpirma natin na nakaalis na siya dito dahil alas 8 ang schedule ng kanyang pagdinig, and then alas 10 naman itong kay dating House Speaker Martin Romualdez.
Would you know if the other members of the small committee during the 2025 proposed national budget ay iimbitahan din dyan, aside from, of course, si former Congressman Zaldico na hindi natin alam kung nasaan ngayon, si former Congresswoman Stella Kimbo?
So far, Angela, wala pa tayong kumpirmasyon kung kasama nga ba ito sa imbitahan ng ICI, si dating Marikina Representative Stella Kimbo. Pero matatandaan natin na ilan sa mga iniuugnay sa mga maanomalyang flood control projects ay dumating na, kagaya na lamang ni Senator Cheese Escudero, at ang iba pang mga kinatawan ng ating pamahalaan para nga ipaliwanag ang proseso dito. At kahapon ay nag-oath taking din itong si Special Advisor ng ICI na si retired General Rodolfo Azurina. Sa iba pa na mga personalidad ay patuloy nating abangan pero pinangako ng ICI na walang whitewashing na mangyayari at talagang ang katotohanan ang kanilang hahanapin para siguruhin mapanagot ang mga may kinalaman sa flood control scandal na ito.
Arles, would you know sa proseso ng ICI na before they file, they're set to file cases in a couple of weeks, But bago mag-file ng cases, initially they're supposed to hold daw a press conference para ibanggit daw yung findings nila. Do you know kung tuloy pa rin yung ganyan na gagawin nila?
Dito, Diego, sa ICI, may nakahanda na nga na isang malaking table na kung saan naghahanda na rin tayo. Maaari na ngayong araw ay magbigay sila ng pahayag at panayam kung ano nga ba ang nangyari dito sa pagdinig at ano-ano nga ba yung mga na-unfold o o yung mga nabuksan natin hinggil sa mga proseso ng budget natin, no? Pero matatandaan kasi na iginiit ng ICI ang kanilang posisyon na hindi nila bubuksan sa publiko kung ano nga ba ang nangyayari sa kanilang pagdinig at magbibigay na lamang sila ng ilang mga panayam at medyo limitado ang impormasyon, pero pinapangako naman nila na maaaring hindi man sa ngayon pero sa pagpapatuloy ng kanilang mga investigasyon ay makakapag-file nga sila ng mga kaso sa Ombudsman.
Arles, would you know kung ano yung tugon ng ICI with regards sa supposed request ni Bryce Hernandez saka ni Alcantara with regards to request for house arrest if possible? Kasi alam ko sa DOJ na request yan pero alam ko nagko-coordinate kasi yung dalawang yung committee tsaka yung agency Oo.
Mm-hmm. Wala pa tayong impormasyon para sa kanyang request, no, sa request ni Bryce Hernandez Diego, pero susubukan natin na tanungin yan mamaya at kung mapagbibigyan nga ba ito. Pero mas maliwanag kasi na medyo saklaw ito ng DOJ, lalo pa at itong si Bryce Hernandez ay kasama, no, sa mga protective witnesses ng ahensya.
Well, last on my end, Arles, ito bang ICI is also willing to investigate other infrastructure anomalies such as yung mga farm-to-market roads na I think na imbestigahan na rin sa Senado soon?
Angela, inaasahan natin na sa pagulungan ng investigasyon ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee patungkol sa mga ilan din ng mga proyekto sa Bicol at Eastern Visayas patungkol sa mga farm-to-market roads, inaasahan natin na dito din tutungo sa ICI ang magiging recommendation o mga findings ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee dahil kung matatandaan natin nang itinatag itong ICI, ang lahat ng infrastructure projects ng pamahalaan sa nakaraang 10 taon ay kanilang sisilipin at bubusisiin at titignan kung ano nga ba mga anomalya nito at kung ano nga ba ang progreso nito. Dahil ayon sa ilan sa mga nakausap natin sa ICI, ayaw naman daw nila na basta masayang na lamang ang pondo ng bayan at mabulsa lamang ng iilan.
Alright, maraming salamat, mobile journalist Arles de los Santos.
Malacanang is pushing back against fiery remarks from Davao City Congressman Paulo Duterte, who warned he would make those who kidnapped his father, former President Rodrigo Duterte, pay. Here's the report.
Should former President Rodrigo Duterte be held accountable for the killings in his bloody war on drugs? If the latest social weather station survey is any indication, most Filipinos think he should. According to the SWS strat-based poll conducted from September 24 to 30, 50% of Filipino adults agreed Duterte should be made accountable, while 32% disagreed, 15% were undecided, and 4% said they didn't know enough. The survey results came just days after the International Criminal Court postponed Duterte's confirmation of charges hearing, citing his health condition. Strat-based President Dindo Manhit said the number of Filipinos calling for accountability rose sharply after renewed media coverage of the ICC case.
Just a month after the arrest, mga April, nakita namin yung numero was 20. Ito yung natural base ng concern na ito, na dapat may panagutin sa pagpatay.
The survey also showed that the Visayas had the highest support for Duterte's prosecution at 54%, followed by Metro Manila with 53%. The lowest came from Mindanao, his home region, with only 39% in favor.
Lalakas pa yan pag nagpatuloy yung case sa ICC, lumabas ang mga ebidensya, makita natin magsalita ang mga witnesses or mga affected individuals or families.
Just this Friday, the ICC denied Duterte's request for interim release, further fueling public discussion about his accountability. Manhit added that such developments could influence future surveys, especially amid disinformation narratives portraying Duterte as an elderly victim.
Information na patuloy na sinishare na illegal ang pag-arrest, matanda na, nakapreso pa, kawawa naman, solo doon, walang kasama. Diba? So may mga ganong disinformation na nangyayari at dahil doon, nagkakaroon ng sympathy.
Following the ICC's decision, Duterte's son, Davao City Congressman Paulo Duterte, warned those he accused of kidnapping his father, saying he'll make sure that they will pay for the crime. The palace dismissed the threat.
Unang-una po, hindi po dapat tayo mabuhay sa mga pagbabanta. Tayo po ay nasa sinasabing civilized society at wala po tayo sa isang barbaric world. So dapat po tayong tumugon kung ano po ang rule of law at hindi po tayo dapat natatakot o lagi na lamang nabubuhay sa pananakot.
Supporters of former President Rodrigo Duterte are urging the International Criminal Court's pretrial chamber to be fair and humane in handling his case, emphasizing that Duterte is still an accused, not a convicted person. Duterte supporter Alvin Zarzate said they remain hopeful the appeals chamber will reverse the denial of Duterte's interim release. Zarzate also defended Vice President Sara Duterte, saying her remarks should not have influenced the ICC's decision. He added that the court should not rely on casual online statements and must focus instead on due process and justice.
Pero para po sa akin, dapat po ang tingnan ng korte is on whether or not the human rights of the former president as an accused in this matter should be highlighted. Kasi naman, again, let me press on the fact na hindi naman niya tinatalikuran. He is even happy to, or he's not even afraid to face these charges hurled against him. You are supposed to be the International Criminal Court, and we are talking about a life of an accused, not a convicted person. So I think they should have exercised more careful approach.
Well, anong mga in the first place, maganda yung explanation ni Attorney Conti kanina sa inyo na how could you not take into consideration, hindi naman yung main statement ni VP Sara ang ginamit, but into consideration yung statement na first of all, yung constant stance nila that the ICC has no jurisdiction over her father and that she'll break him out of prison.
And then the word kidnap itself.
Kidnap itself, yun nga. So, ang point dyan is because si President Duterte, yung interim release is granted to those kung hindi ka flight risk or wala kang influence. But, if you do not accept the fact na may jurisdiction sa'yo yung entity na yan, yung ICC, that means, maganda yung point na pag nag-grant ang interim release, a regular person, kinidnap ka, pinakawalan, di ba? Akala mo kinidnap ka, pinakawalan ka, babalik ka pa doon? Hindi. So, yun
also,
ang pinopoint out.
Conti pointed out earlier saying na former President Rodrigo Duterte is now a suspect. No, hindi nga siya convicted but he's a suspect, not just an accused.
He's not an accused, he's a suspect. Only a suspect pa. An accused kasi is pag may reading of charges na di ba? Tapos guilty or not guilty. So at this point, suspect pa lang siya.
And she also pointed out na yung mga statements and interviews given by the Duterte family may have parang nagkaroon ng weight doon sa naging desisyon nga ng ICC dahil nagagamit nga yung mga statements na yon against them.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. Good morning. You're still watching News and Views here on One News. Amid a series of earthquakes, the Philippine Red Cross is urging everyone to prepare a go bag. Red Cross Secretary General Gwen Pang said having a ready bag can save lives during disasters when rescue and relief operations may take days to arrive. Each go bag should include canned food, water, first aid supplies, maintenance medicines, hygiene kits, flashlight, and important documents sealed in plastic. Pang also reminded the public to check the bag every 3 to 6 months to replace expired items.
Wala na pong oras. Speed is the name of the game. So very important na grab and go. Bitbitin mo na lang. Yan po yung ating purpose ng paghahanda. So kung hindi, talagang magsasuffer tayo, magugutom tayo, magkakasakit dahil wala tayong extra mga pangailangan pagdating ng emergency.
Joining us now is Dr. Ted Esguerra, Crisis Lead of the First Gen Energy Development Corporation and a disaster preparedness expert. Sir, good morning.
Hi.
Thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Yeah, good morning.
All right, dami pong, this last month, several earthquakes hit Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao. How do we really prepare for an earthquake? It's easy to say or to talk about it, but when it actually happens, medyo iba ang mindset natin.
Well, we can prepare with quite a number of things. Number one is, since we are talking about go bag, so we prepare go bag. Now, let me remind everyone, there are 3 things you have to consider. Go bag is a bag that must be located near the exit.
Okay.
It must not be hidden somewhere in the corner of your house, inside a cabinet somewhere that you will have a hard time getting it. One. Number two, go bags must be per member of the family, including the dog and the cat. Of course, the dog and the cat will not carry the pack. So,
Hello, sir?
Sir, yung audio pa.
Oo, nawala po yung audio
Yeah,
nyo.
yeah.
Yan,
Yan,
there
yan.
you go.
yeah.
Mm-mm.
Okay. So inside the pack is the vaccination and the the food, the ready to eat food for dogs and cats. Now, per member of the family, that's it. And next is the go bag is not only in one side. If you are working, your office.
Oo, nawawala ulit si sir, no? We're having technical problem right now, ano, yung audio
It's
ni sir.
okay.
Hello?
Yan. Okay
Yeah,
na.
okay. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
So the office, you have to have the what we call the get home bag. Get home bag. So because once there's earthquake, there's declaration of order to go home, then you carry your get home bag. And lastly, you must have a go bag inside your vehicle. So the leanest position of the go bags must be in three positions: in the house, in the car, if you have a car, and in the office. And the contents, actually, I gave the contents. I
Yun
had
nga
it.
po eh,
I called
oo.
it Lucky Nine.
Oo.
Lucky Nine.
Aha,
So
okay.
you don't have to have a huge go bag. Okay, you can organize it, and there are quite few outfits which organize it for you, but you can tailor fit it so for your needs and your body build. What I encourage is if you see me on TV, what I encourage is the backpack. Why? My hands are free. But I don't say that it's really the thing because our kababayan up where in the hinterlands they might not have any backpack, but they
Yes.
can use sako. So we can create a go sako, like my friends in Dumagat. We organize the go sako there for them. There are skirmishes between the wait. Then we have the go sako, and we have the go balde. No, other people would like to use the balde. I'm not comfortable when your hands are not free. For example, after an earthquake, I need to maneuver across rubbles. If your hands are not free, then that's the big problem.
That's right.
That's why I still go for backpack. And another note. Once you have a backpack, get a sturdy backpack and get a backpack that looks neutral. Because my experience in Haiti, if you remember Haiti,
Yes.
I was there. It was crazy. People were shooting at each other. If your backpack looks classy or looks tactical, people will look at you. And they can maul you because you look off color. So you have to be like the gray man also. That's one thing I have
Blend
to
in, parang
tell everyone. Yeah, you can blend, no? So that's it. And then another thing, once you have a go bag, you have to know its positioning, the contents inside in the family. For example, if at night time we have to evacuate and I got injured, I don't know where you place the first aid kit, so I have to scramble my hands underneath. No, so you have to have a uniformity in positioning of go bags. So the contents are lucky nine. Quickly, first is any infectious kit. Like right now we are having a flu. COVID is still around, although kaya ng katawan ng COVID. So the first kit is mask and alcohol. Okay, number two, bottled water. So bottled water or what? So you have a container, fill it with water. Number three, signaling kit. When I say signaling kit, inside are headlamps and whistle, like whistle. When I say whistle, the whistle with no button inside. Because pag nabasa to, the button inside, like what you see with the policeman,
Yes.
magpiyok po yan. No? So yung ganito, there are cheap whistles two-tone para mas mapansin ka ng aso. So kasama sa signaling kit, inside the signaling kit is your power bank for your cell phone and mirror. And of course, if you have crank radio, very cheap lang sa Divisoria.
Yeah.
The crank radio will give me information news coming from you. If there's no more cell phone, at least I have radio. So that's your signaling kit. Then fourth is my first aid kit and medicine kit. These are two different entities. First aid kit contains anything that will settle my wound or fix my wound. Medicine kit are over-the-counter medicines like for headache, cough, colds, allergy, and if you have maintenance. Fifth is your food. So you have to have meals ready to food. In my pack, what I have is a power bar. That's the power bar. And you can have anything. There are available in the market right
Crackers,
now.
ganon.
Yeah, that there's rice. Everything is,
Cereals,
you don't need to cook. Okay. I also have honey.
Oh.
Honey, I can use honey in austere medicine as first aid. At the same
Energy
time,
bar pala.
it's a boosting food. Honey has lots of vitamins and minerals.
Right.
Six is apparel kit. So apparel kit must contain a polo na ganito na mabilis ilaban but long sleeve. Why long sleeve? And pants, long pants na madali laban. Why long pants? If I need to go to evacuation center, I might survive the earthquake. I might die from chikungunya or dengue or malaria.
Oo.
So, para hindi ako malamok, no? So, long pants, long sleeves. And meron kang single ply raincoat because we are in a tropical country and malong. I don't like to disperse my malong, no? Kasi nasa training kami ngayon for Davao deployment. So malong po, it's available. You can buy it in Quiapo and in quite number of parang outdoor stalls, no? Number 7 is your cordates and cutting. So if you're adult, you're allowed, you can have a cordates. Ito po yung lubid ko, nandito po. Nakikita niyo, lubid po yan. It can even carry my weight. And then the cutting tool, adults tayo, meron kang multi-tool like this one. I have a Leatherman. Okay? So this is an extension of your hand. 8 is your apparel kit. 8 is your hygiene kit. The hygiene kit contains sabon, shampoo, toothpaste, toothbrush, off lotion, at sa babae, mga sanitary pads. So, yung ano naman, ang hinikayat ko sa sabon, no, I'm not promoting, but this is good for science. No? Okay yung perla na white. Why? Kasi ang perla, pwede siya pang ano sa burn. Panggamot sa burn kasi alkaline.
Okay.
Panglaban na, pangligo pa. So, yun ko. I'm not a promoter of that, but that's the only sabon na I can use in survival.
Sir,
And the last, number 9, is the zip.
Nawala na ng signal si Doc.
I wanted to hear the last.
Oo nga eh. What's the last one? Doc, are you still there?
Wala.
Doc?
Numbers. Yes po.
Yun, go ahead.
Yeah.
Nawala
Huwag
ka
kayong maniwala. Emergency number. Yeah. Huwag kayong maniwala. Emergency numbers nasa phone lang. Get a hard copy. Kasi pag naubos ang battery ng phone o nahulog sa imburnal, then you're done. So nakasama po yan doon sa Ziploc kit. Kasama din po doon yung mga 20 pesos, 50 pesos. Huwag po kayo mag-ipon ng 1,000. 50 pesos, 100 pesos, 50 pesos lang. At saka pwede nyo lagyan ng sewing kit, lagyan nyo ng collapse na duct tape. So assorted doon sa Ziploc. Now, yung mga sinasabi kong kits, they must be compartmentalized in a lock and lock. No? Parang merong
para hindi mapasukan ng
watertight na
tubig.
thing.
Oo.
Bakit? Alam niyo po, bakit? Kasi kung naabutan ako ng baha or tsunami, if I need to float, yung backpack ko, because may mga watertight containers, lulutang din siya, salbabida din po siya at the same time.
That's a
Parang
good
itong backpack
point.
ko.
Oo,
no?
ayan.
Oo nga, yeah.
Sayang
Makes
din natin
sense, ha?
makita yung yung laman ng backpack ni Doc. Pero Doc, no, it's good that you
Yeah, one of
pointed.
these days, we can do it live and color. I can go to studio.
Punta kayo
and
dito sa
Will
amin.
here.
Oo.
I'm just so busy, no? I'll show you, and it's not really expensive. It's not so hard to organize. Kaya nga natin mag-TikTok na quite complicated. Ito pang mag-assemble ng ba.
Alright. Doc, I have a question lang po. No? It's good that you mentioned na kumbaga every place na kung saan ka nagpupunta, meron kang go bag. Ano? Pero pag during the earthquake, ano po ba muna yung gagawin ng isang tao? Of course, protect himself first. Paano niya pupuntahan yung go bag niya?
Okay. Lagay ko para makita niyo ang gagawin. Ang pinaka-common po, pag may mesa ka, drop, cover, and hold. Okay? Mesa. Hindi ko na ituturo. Pero karamihan, mga tao, nahirapan mag-drop, cover, and hold. Ang ituturo ko lang, commonly, is that tripod position. Pag may lindol, the ground is shaking, you kneel down one. Look up, left, right, at the back. If something falls onto you, you can spring up and move away and tripod again. Because survival is moving.
That's right.
Another survival is corner of the house. Most corners of establishments are posts. as long as walang mahulog sa ibabaw. Okay? Tandaan nyo, corner. Kasi hindi lahat taong pwedeng sumuksok sa ilalim. Paano na yung mga elderly persons with disability? So sa Japan, ang ginagawa sa Japan, they hold to the strong post or strong wall while it's shaking. Maybe holding the elderly and what, no? So pwede siya. Try pa din siya. Another thing that I notice, when people are evacuating, they hold their head. I'm not an advocate of holding your head and going down the flight of stairs. Kung nasipa ka, natulak ka, you fall down, you roll down. And that's gonna be a
Yes,
very
oo.
miserable condition. Yung kamay mo, just hold somebody else's shoulder in front while you're going down in a centipede formation. Pag sa isang office centipede, mahirap po kayong tibagin. And along the wall. Why along the wall? Because if lights turn off, walls will be your lifeline. Walls will lead you to doors and windows. In a centipede formation, mahirapan kayong tibagin. The staircase will be your next hazard if you live in high-rise.
Yung sa wall po na sinasabi nyo, yun po ba yung sinasabi nila na triangle of life? Na
Not necessarily.
okay.
Well,
Kasi
ganito
malaking
po, Mama.
debate po yun eh. Oh.
Yeah. You will not know how the building will collapse. Hindi natin naman perfect. There's no perfect science kung paano siya mag-collapse. It can collapse like when I was in Turkey.
Nawawala si sir.
Okay?
Okay.
May collapse into pancake like 1990 earthquake. Sa Baguio ba yun? Yeah,
Yes,
pancake.
that's right.
May cantilever. Yung sinasabi ni triangle of life, cantilever collapse po yun. At samba-samba. Hindi mo alam. The only thing you will just play, baka lang pwede, is under a sturdy furniture. If you are not in a sturdy furniture, maybe in a corner, baka lang. I don't say it's a perfect triangle. I will just call it void, no? So that's the essence why I'm not really, I don't say it's bad or good, but you really never know. Baka naman, dito ako sa poste para mag-triangle of life. Yung poste naman natumba,
Right.
nadaganan na.
Oo.
So, there's no sure thing. Ang kailangan lang, kung gusto mong mag-survive ka, mataas survival, ito lang, may isang tuturo ko sa inyo. Buksan nyo lang yung mata. Para pag nakita nyo may tutumba, iwas kung kaya mong iwasan. May mahulog, move, iwas para kaya mong iwasan. Yan lang, mata lang talaga. Because you don't know where are you at that moment. There are issues in earthquake survival. Number one, how strong is the earthquake? If it's strong, really, wala akong magagawa. Number two, where are you during the earthquake? If you're inside the building, then that's a very miserable condition compared na nasa outside ko. Number three, what time of the day? Katulad sa Bogo, mas maraming nadali kasi night time eh.
Yes, oo.
So, yun, no? Or, what is the density at that time? Halimbawa, pag maraming tao, mas magulo yan. Wala siyang building ako, grabe yung density ng tao. So, mas magulo siya. Kasi baka it's not the lindol that can kill you, it may be the crowd crush.
Right, oo.
Tagasaan ka ng mga tao. It's
Doc,
crowd crush.
Oo, Dok, isa
So,
pang
mga ganun yung situation.
Dok, isa pa pong tinatanong ng ating mga kapatid din yung kapag ikaw ay naabutan ng lindol in a moving car, 'di ba? Ano usually ang dapat ginagawa doon?
Okay. Kasi naranasan ko na po yan. When I was in Nepal, and when I was in, when it's not Nepal, and forgot. But anyway, pag naglindol po, para po, you feel like you have a flat tire. And then you notice your surroundings start to shake. So you, slowly, don't brake right away. Slowly brake. Kasi pag na-brake ka right away ka, sundutin ka sa likod na hindi nakakaintindi. Then hazard, no? Pinapractice pa yung hazard, pakiramdam. If you're under the bridge, huwag mong patay na makina. If you're under the bridge or tall structures, slowly maneuver out and on the side, to the side. Go to the side. And then look at the environment while it's shaking. It's shaking. Now, if you're free, just stay there. Okay? Now, the question is, like Kobe earthquake, you are on top of the skyway.
Yes, oo.
Same procedure. The safest area is in your car. In my car, sudden shake, mas shake ang skyway, tabi ako. When you see it shaking and you can see na may nagsabog-sabog doon, ibig sabihin napuputol yung tulay, patay ng makina, just rely on your seatbelt. Because if you will be catapulted, at least you are in the car. You just rely on the airbags and the...
So stay in the car. Don't make a run for it.
Yeah. So, you get out of the car, you will be catapulted in your car. Baka yung car mo ang dadagan sa'yo doon. Kasi para kang nahulog sa bangin. The safest area will be in the car. It's not an assurance, but compared to other positions, the safest is in the car. So stay in the car. If you're in a motorbike, get out and tripod position. Okay? Pag nag-get out ka, patayin mo yung sasakyan mo. Patayin mo. Bilisan po, tripod position ka and look up and down. Pag merong car kang katabi, just go near the car kasi pag bumagsak, sasaluin ng car yun eh. Doon ka sa car, hawak ka lang sa car. Di naman papansinin ng may-ari, hawak ka lang doon sa gilid habang sumasayaw ang road or bridge. If you're in a motorbike.
Alright, siguro pinaka-message na lang po sa ating mga kapatid ngayon na nanonood regarding disaster preparedness po.
Okay, two things. Number one, we are now, there's no earthquake drill, no? We are on live and in color earthquake. So please talk to your families and create go bags. Decide where you will evacuate. Or if you don't evacuate because there's not much strong earthquake, decide how you can shelter in place with lots of food inside. Number two, if there's earthquake drill, I want you to be very serious. In this country, we are not really serious participating in earthquake drills. So please be serious because it's like we train as we fight. What we train at peacetime is what we will do in wartime.
That's true. Kaya in Japan, ganun eh, di ba?
Yeah.
Very,
Kumbaga,
di ba? Way of life na nila, yung mga drill nila. So when it happens, yung mga earthquake, alam na nila talaga yung
Calm and
ginagawa
calculated.
nila.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Dr. Ted Esguerra, Crisis Lead of the First Gen Energy Development Corporation. Tama yung sinabi niya, be serious kapag nagkakaroon ng earthquake drill. Kasi nangyayari minsan, madalas, mga nagsiselfie pa after ng mga, or during the drill.
Make it muscle memory daw.
Totoo.
Kasi nagiging automatic na sa'yo. Alright, the Department of Science and Technology Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. said that Metro Manila remains unprepared for what experts call the big one. Here is the report.
Over the past 2 weeks, a series of strong earthquakes has shaken different parts of the country. Among them are the magnitude 6.9 quake in Bogos City, Cebu, and the magnitude 7.4 and 6.8 earthquakes in Manay, Davao Oriental. Department of Science and Technology Secretary Renato Solidum Jr. explained that these recent earthquakes in Cebu and Davao Oriental are unrelated events.
There's no connection. The earthquakes in Davao Oriental were due to movement or subduction of rocks along the Philippine Trends. And the motion of the earthquake in Davao Oriental was not one single motion, but two big motions.
Solidum added that doublet or twin quakes, like those in Davao, are rare but not unusual.
It's not common, it's rare, but essentially this is caused by asperity or blockage as the fault will move, no? If a sliver of a big rock is lodged in between the fault, then the motion will not be continuous.
These recent earthquakes have reminded the public of what experts have long warned Metro Manila about, the big one, a possible magnitude 7.2 earthquake along the West Valley Fault that could cause a massive destruction across the capital. Despite years of preparedness campaigns, Solidum said Metro Manila is still not ready.
As our latest studies still indicate a significant number of casualty of around 30,000 in Metro Manila alone, and additionally, if we consider the potential casualties in provinces surrounding Metro Manila, it can total up to 50,000.
He stressed that many structures remain unsafe, built without engineers, without permits, and without following the building code.
Fortunately, if we have houses that are not built, supervised by engineers, we call those non-engineered buildings, or sometimes the materials used are not standard, then we can see the effect of strong earthquake. We can see damaged houses and buildings.
Solidum urged both local governments and residents to work together, rebuilding safer homes and strengthening communities before disaster strikes.
So we have a significant number of non-engineered buildings in Metro Manila. These are typically the informal settlements. And I've been saying that we need to focus on the reconstruction of houses so that people would be safer during major earthquake events.
Solidum added that Filipinos can now use Hazard Hunter PH and How Safe Is My House, digital tools that help assess earthquake risks and check the structural integrity of homes.
Laguna has suspended face-to-face classes in all public and private schools from October 14 to 31 as a precaution against possible earthquakes linked to the West Valley Fault. Governor Sol Aragones said the move was based on data and consultations with disaster officials. She emphasized that student safety comes first, noting that lost school days can be recovered, but lives cannot be replaced. During the suspension, students will shift to online and modular learning.
All right, let's get insights from the Philippine Business for Education, or PBED, Executive Director Hannibal Camoa. Good morning, Sir Hannibal. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Sir Angelo, Ma'am Angela. It's nice to be back again. Thank you for having me.
Good to see
All right,
you.
well, unusual way of suspending classes, influenza and structural analysis ang ginagamit, no? And also sa Laguna naman, due to preventive measures against earthquakes. What do you make of this?
Well, sir, from our end in the Philippine Business for Education, we always put and we acknowledge that the safety of the learners should be prioritized. But apart from that, there's also should be a balance between the learning outcomes, no? Kung magsususpende po tayo ng klase, and particularly taking into consideration that when we suspend classes, hindi po kasi uniform yung, let's say for example, kung mag-online, hindi lahat may access to internet connection and gadgets. Kung mag-modular, meron din po talagang nagsa-struggle ng mga learners for modular learning. So iba-iba po yung circumstances ng ating mga learners. So it should be taken into consideration when we are suspending classes for especially for prolonged period of time. Yung mga suspension of classes for one day to do, let's say, the disinfection or general cleaning for because of the influenza like outbreak na yan, that could be. Pero let's say for example prolonged suspension of classes, it would have a very big and major impact on the learning outcomes of our learners.
But I wanted to ask you with regards yung sa Laguna specifically, na kasi hindi clear ang actual orders. Is it preventive maintenance of the structures of schools, or rather in anticipation of a possible earthquake from their point of view?
So it's also unclear for me, no? I've only gotten my information regarding the suspension, no? From what I hear and read in the news, but particularly. Number one, if we are to connect it with, if the prolonged suspension is connected, let's say, for preparedness for the earthquake, it also came from our FIVOCs and our experts that the string of earthquakes that's happening in Visayas and in Mindanao, and in last week it was in Baguio or La Union, are not connected. No, and it has been scientifically proven that they are not connected. Now we acknowledge that there's that need to prepare. But all this time, we've been preparing for it. Earthquake drills in schools are done quarterly, if I'm not mistaken. Children are being provided and with go bags in case any eventualities would happen in the school. So in relation to the earthquake, it's not clear. Also based on what we are hearing from the news, and also based on, let's say, her health concerns for influenza-like symptoms. As what I've said, it should be taken with consideration as well. That there should be consideration of learning continuity among our learners.
That's right.
Well, I want to ask you about the situation in Cebu, particularly, no? Kasi yung kanilang classes doon ay suspended, then hindi pa rin natin alam until when, because most of the residents there are, living in a tent city. And I think yung isa sa nakausap namin doon, sinabi nila, gagawa na lang muna sila ng isang tent doon wherein the students may, continue their studies kahit papano. Pero moving forward, how are we going to, solve this problem? Especially nga dahil doon sa situation ng Cebu, ay alam naman natin na wala silang mga classrooms.
Integrity ng structure.
So, talking of those areas that were hit by the earthquakes, that's a different story. So particularly, their classrooms are affected, and I think there has been, let's say, an assessment of, let's say, which schools can continue with their, let's say, face-to-face classes using their classrooms, and which schools yung hindi talaga pwede because of structural integrity. Now, construction of temporary classrooms that can be used for learning continuity
Right.
could be an option, I think. And there is a program for that. There is a law that actually mandates that any eventuality during emergencies and disasters like this, government agencies in charge for education and welfare should construct or put up temporary classrooms to ensure that there is still learning continuity among our learners. But of course, the priority is their safety and also their well-being. So before jumping into the actual, let's say, classes, there should be there's a process, and that process has been established, that there should be a checking on the, let's say, safety of the location for the temporary classrooms, and also there should be a processing sa mga learners natin. Dapat pinaprocess yung mga experiences nila, because some might come in with
That's right.
trauma, or yung pagkatakot nila because of the experience is still there. So it should be processed as well before jumping or before going into the actual delivery of, let's say, instruction.
I'd like to ask you about some concerns also ng mga ibang parents. I've heard this online and actually from the parents mismo. There are several private schools na, number one, yung mga big institutions na matagal na nandun. So they have very old buildings already. And number two, yung mga nagsimula ng maliit tapos nag-add on through construction, palaki ng palaki yung structure. How can a parent check, or can the parents coordinate with the administration to check how safe these structures are? Sa Manila pa lang, you can pinpoint a number of old schools na private institutions na medyong luma na yung mga
Daan
building.
na yung binilang mo sa tagal.
Is there a way of checking na if they're up to speed with yung mga building codes?
I think, sir, the best way to really check on that is with their local government units, and of course their city or, let's say, provincial engineering units. Because there's also a process for all this, no, and checking of structural integrity, and of course yan na-check po yan ng kanilang engineering unit if it's abides into the building code, and also may ano din po yan, superimposition of hazard mapping, which those data are actually available with the local government units. I would like to double down lang sa Ma'am Angelo and Sir Angela about our experience, no? Experience natin from last school year.
Yeah.
Well, yun naman are emergencies that are actually brought about, let's say, by weather disturbances, typhoons, flooding, among others. But data coming from EDCOM and the Philippine Institute for Development Studies, last year lang po ito, 53, an average of 53 class days were actually missed by our learners. So 53 out of the mandated 200 to 210 class days. So that's basically a quarter already lost. No, and while there are some, let's say, mechanisms or remediation or pwede po yung make-up classes, we should also remember that when we do make-up classes, it also adds up, no, to, let's say, the burden of our teachers and also our learners. So, as what I've said at the start of this interview, there should be a consideration on balancing safety and well-being versus, and of course, balance that with the learning outcomes of our learners. Titingnan natin, halos kaka-start lang natin ng school year. If we are going to do a count of how many times classes has been suspended already, I think if the trend would continue, baka malampasan pa natin yung 53 na average from last school year. And then that's not a very good sign of how we manage learning continuity here in the country.
Pero Hannibal, lastly, no, kasi we don't have much time, but I'd like also to ask you a very important question. Iba ang, kasi sabi iba ang bagyo, baha, and all these scenarios, no? Pero ang earthquake kasi hindi mo alam kailan darating. How do you assist then the children who also have this fear? Now, they can't focus in their studies in the classroom kasi kaliwat kanan, gumalaw yung lamesa, praning sila, iniisip saan ako tatakbo, saan ako. Diba, very anxious. So yung capacity to learn nila is hindered. So ano yung advice nyo for the students to help them cope with this, what we're going through right now?
Yeah, I think, sir, first and foremost is preparedness. Preparedness, because particularly all these hazards are not new to us. We are in the Pacific Ring of Fire, we are in the typhoon belt. So, and it's in our, actually it's in our curriculum, nasa instruction din po yan ng ating mga ng DepEd at ng ating educational institutions, na dapat the focus would be on preparedness, so that when the time comes, if any emergency or eventuality comes, our learners and our teachers, the staff know what to do.
Yes.
So number one is really to double down on preparedness. For those naman na talagang nakikita that there's concerns or talagang there's fear lingering, and basically itong mga, let's say for example, some of the statements that hindi naman scientifically proven actually adds to that. So we need to make sure that we check on our information, the source of our information, so as hindi tayo nagpapalaganap ng maling impormasyon at in this case na nakakabahala sa iba. But for those naman talaga that are really experiencing anxiety and fear, they should get in touch with their teachers, because particularly in the school, there is a school level focal for mental health and psychosocial services for those who would need it.
Okay. Alright, preparedness is key. I like it. Alright, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. PBED Executive Director Hannibal Camwa. Thanks for joining us again.
Maraming salamat din po. Thank you.
Don't go away because we're not done yet. Please stay with us. Welcome back. You're still watching News and Views here on One News.
A group of students has created a companion robot designed to assist through voice commands, health monitoring, and safety alerts. The details in this report by mobile journalist Denise Valdesancho.
A group of 17-year-old senior high school students from Nueva Ecija is making waves in the world of robotics, combining innovation with compassion through their award-winning companion robot named Francis, short for Futuristic Robot, for assisting in navigation, care, interaction, and support. Designed to assist in daily living through voice commands, health monitoring, and safety alerts, Francis can even send automatic messages during emergencies, providing both comfort and protection for people at home.
Because it is tribute to our late Pope Francis, that is an icon for humanity and compassion.
Developed by students Princess Arian Jacobe, Joselito Roglan, and Mary Silene Sermonia from TopLink Global College, Francis has already made its mark on the global stage. The team represented the Philippines at the World Robot Olympiad, where they won the Future Innovators category last September 21, 2025. They're now preparing to bring their creation to Tokyo, Japan, for the Science Castle World Edition 2025. For the team, innovation means not only creating something new, but also addressing real-life challenges.
Even our homes, even our house that is supposed to be a safe place for every one of us, there are still unexpected circumstances na pwede pong mangyari.
Coach Ernest describes the experience as inspiring, seeing young minds use innovation to make a difference.
Nakaka-inspire din kasi siya ng mga kabataan, ma'am. So, lalo na ngayon na pupunta talaga tayo sa technology. So it was a great experience po with our school, of course, na talagang nililid tayo doon sa mga innovations.
And as they continue to refine Francis with moving hands, mobility, and wireless features, these young innovators believe they're only getting started.
The future of technology here in our country is bright. May magandang future po na tatahakin yung mga kabataan when it comes to technology.
Kapatid Denise Valdesancho, we are One News.
Gabay Gurot gears up to honor teachers as heroes of learning in its 18th annual Grand Gathering. Mobile Journal Arles de los Santos has the report.
To honor the educators who shape minds, inspire change, and build the nation's future, Gabay Guro is now gearing up to once again light up the stage. Now on its 18th year, Gabay Guro is set to host its annual Grand Gathering on October 25 at the Meralco Theater in Pasig City with the theme Our Teachers, Heroes of Learning, Builders of Tomorrow. In a press conference on Monday, the group teased the media for its upcoming Grand Gathering with performances from celebrity volunteer performers such as Puppert, Jed Madela, and Jonah, who also shared stories of how their former teachers touched their lives.
Ang laki ng influence nila talaga. Ang laki ng influence ng teachers kasi yun nga, when you're a kid, when you're young, you don't know your direction pa sa buhay, di ba? So I think sila din yung pumupukaw ng your passions, the things that you like. Sila yung nag-encourage sa'yo na, why don't you try this, try that, and sila yung nakakakita ng potential sa'yo.
Gabay Guro, a flagship education advocacy of PLDT Smart Foundation and Metro Pacific Investment Corporation, or MPIC, has partnered with PLDT Home, Smart, PLDT Managers Club, Department of Education, and MWell with an aim to champion educators as catalysts of sustainable and inclusive nation building. Aside from jaw-dropping performances from various local artists, Gabay Guro will also hold a raffle draw for our teachers with over 1 million pesos in cash prizes and a brand new Cheretigo Touring as its grand prize. Jay Cabal Revilla, Gabay Guro Chairperson, MWell President and CEO, and Chief Finance, Risk and Sustainability Officer of MPIC, highlighted their commitment to the most fundamental pillar of a resilient and future-ready nation, the educators. She also shared how MWell is now more equipped in supporting our teachers in terms of mind health.
So for October 25, we are sure to give a very festive, fun, talentful show with our many artists. So it's going to be an extravagant fun and entertainment for the tribute of our teachers.
Gabay Guro, along with its partners MWell and PLDT Smart Foundation, promise constant support for teachers through various programs so they can focus on what's important, providing quality education for Filipino students and learners. Kapatid Arles de los Santos, we are One News.
And that wraps up today's episode of News and Views.
Join us again tomorrow. I'm Angelo Castro.
And I'm Angelo Castro III. We are One News.
Kapatid, all sides, all the time.